Knowing where to begin is the hardest part of getting started. Product roadmaps are no exception. Creating or even updating a product roadmap can feel like being handed a blank sheet of paper and told you have 60 minutes to write a 10-page college essay on a topic you didn't study for. Go. It's the stuff of nightmares. Thankfully, that's where first principles come in. First principles represent fundamental truths you can use to deconstruct a problem and find a starting point, whether writing a college essay or creating an outcomes-oriented product roadmap. First principles are there to get you unstuck and on the right track while enabling you to challenge assumptions. Yet, first principle thinking is often absent in product roadmap creation and even product management. Instead of taking a step back and drawing on established fundamentals, product managers panic or just start writing. That's a big mistake. First principles make roadmap development clear, logical, and straightforward. Why not draw on the millions of roadmaps that have come before and learn from their successes and failures? So have you ever wondered why some product roadmaps succeed while others fail? And consequently, if there's a secret starting point or set of principles used by successful product managers? If so, this video is for you. I'm John, and I've led global product teams and profitable product portfolios in the billions as a founder, startup executive, Big Four consultant, and Fortune 100 product leader. And I can confidently tell you there are, in fact, first principles used to create successful product roadmaps. So today we'll cover the basics of first principles and how they're used in Tesla's product process. And stick with me until the end for the 8 first principles of product roadmaps that will give you a rock-solid foundation before I wrap it up. If you'd like to stay up to date on the latest in product management, it would be awesome if you'd hit like and subscribe. I think it's important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. The normal way we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. With analogy, we're doing this because it's like something else that was done, or it's like what other people are doing. With first principles, you boil things down to the most fundamental truths and then reason up from there. Elon Musk. So there was no one to blame but us. The product was in disarray. It felt as if we had no direction. Like we were stuck in a storm in the middle of the ocean without a rudder, the waves crashing over our heads. At this point, it looked like it would be a long week, weekend, and possibly month. It was clear we weren't delivering a product customers love. Our product roadmap had taken us off the rails, and we would need a complete reboot and refactoring, possibly even a hard restart. We were behind our competition, pumping out features with low value, slow to release, and pandering to our stakeholders, not our customers. While it would have been easy to blame the product strategy, marketing, or any number of other potential targets, they weren't at the heart of the problem. The product strategy was sound, but we hadn't translated it well. Marketing was pushing what we gave them, and we hadn't built something worthwhile. Always better when at least you can pretend it's not your fault. Even though I knew the roadmap was the problem, I was at a real loss about where to begin. It's too bad I didn't have first principles to draw on at the time. So what are first principles? First principle thinking is the art of breaking down complex problems into their most foundational elements. It's about stripping away assumptions, conventional wisdom, and we've always done things that way to get to the core truths. First principle thinking isn't about accepting things as they are. Think of it as the difference between following a recipe and understanding the chemistry of cooking. As product managers, the first principles approach enables us to attack problems from new angles, armed with sound logic. So let's break it down. 1, question everything. Don't just accept that a roadmap needs to be a certain way or start as a blank sheet of paper. Ask why. Ask what you can use for structure. 2, identify those base principles. What are the fundamental truths of product development? Trust, outcomes, value. These are your building blocks. 3, build from the ground up. Using these principles, construct your roadmap. Okay, so let's imagine you want to make a faster bicycle. The conventional approach is lighter materials and a more aerodynamic design. But first principle thinking asks, what's our real goal? Moving a person from point A to point B quickly. Suddenly, you're not just tweaking a bicycle. You're rethinking transportation itself using physics as your guide. Hello, recumbent bikes. Hello, hoverboards. Hello, teleportation. Okay, maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. In product roadmap terms, this means, number 1, relying on solid roadmap foundations, your physics, and number 2, rethinking the end product you deliver, your bicycle, hoverboard, or teleportation. The result, a roadmap that's both grounded in proven principles and an innovative product. So how are first principles used in product development at a company like Tesla, the world's most successful EV maker? Historically, car manufacturing has been dominated by internal combustion engine vehicles. The automotive industry's entrenched methods focused on optimizing these ICE systems, often at the expense of innovation in alternative energy sources. In the early 2000s, electric vehicles were still largely inefficient, expensive, and plagued by limited range and long charging times, limiting mass market adoption. Enter Elon Musk and Tesla, armed with a secret weapon: first principle thinking. Under Elon Musk's leadership, Tesla adopted a first principles approach to rethinking the fundamental aspects of the electric car. Instead of accepting the limitations of battery technology and electric powertrain systems as givens, Tesla rethought these components, focusing on physics, looking at things like specific energy density of batteries and the efficiency of electric motors. Here's how Tesla applied first principle thinking. First, question everything. Why do cars need gas? Why are batteries so heavy? Why can't electric be sexy? 2, strip it down to the basics. At its core, a car is about efficiently moving people from A to B, just like our bicycle. Everything else is optional. 3, rebuild it from scratch. Using physics as their guide, Tesla reimagined everything from battery chemistry to the manufacturing process. In the end, Tesla knew they wanted a car, a means of transportation for the masses, but a more sustainable, electrified one. That meant working within the constraints of physics and using them as a guide, but not accepting the limitations of traditional automobiles. First principle thinking at its best. This approach allowed them to innovate without the constraints of traditional automotive manufacturers. By focusing on the core physics of battery technology, Tesla developed proprietary battery solutions that significantly increased energy density while reducing costs through innovations like Gigafactory, which streamlined battery production at scale. Tesla's application of first principles led to the development of the Roadster, Model S, Model X, and later the more affordable Model 3 and Model Y, each breaking barriers in terms of efficiency, range, and performance. Guided by fundamentals, first principles, and first principle thinking, Tesla revolutionized an industry, changing the trajectory of automotive technology. Think what first principles can do for your roadmap. Okay, so now let's talk about the 8 first principles of product roadmaps and play it forward. As a huge Tesla fan, let's pretend I had an opportunity to create a roadmap for their next generation electric vehicle. Of course, I'd be both excited and intimidated. It would be amazing to tear down all conventions and rethink assumptions from a physics-based, fundamentals-up perspective. That said, when putting the new, novel product into a roadmap for the team to execute, I'd be sure to lean on the first principles of product roadmaps I've learned over 2 decades. Principles that would have rescued me from my roadmap dilemma and a very long month back in the day. So here we go. Number 1, trust. Trust is the currency of product teams and product roadmaps. Without a foundation of trust, a roadmap will never reach its full potential as the team will hold back. They will look to protect themselves. Open debate and discussion will not take place without trust. So before you begin developing or refactoring a roadmap, start from a place of trust. 2, define clear, measurable outcomes. Outcomes are the most important part of the roadmap. Outcomes define the result you will deliver, not the feature you will develop. What is it you're going to achieve? How will you achieve it? How will you know you've achieved it? And what is the benefit to the customer? 3, focus on value creation. Outcomes and value are different. Value shows how an outcome is worth something to someone. For example, an outcome might be faster login to an app for a specific feature. On its own, it may be worth it. However, the value would be fewer tickets submitted to the help desk and fewer customers canceling due to unreasonable load times. User needs, outcomes, and value must be in alignment. Value ensures someone will pay and provides a relative scale for prioritization. 4, plan to test for DMF, desirability, marketability, and feasibility. Don't wait until the end to understand if someone will want the product or feature on the roadmap. Continuously test to ensure someone, hopefully your customer, wants it, will pay for it, and it can be built within the given constraints. Building a plan to test for DMF as you go into your roadmap is critical. 5, embrace flexibility and adaptability. Iterate or become irrelevant. You need to include the ability to adapt. You will learn. Things will change. Your roadmap can't be rigid. You must plan for some fluidity. Embracing flexibility and adaptability might include checkpoints along your roadmap, release process, and implementing feedback loops. 6, be realistic. This one might get me in trouble with Elon. You need to be realistic. No amount of writing down unrealistic expectations will enable you to achieve them. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have goals and shouldn't stretch, but you must be reasonable. If you're not realistic, the team will lose trust and motivation. Balance ambition with achievability, the short term with the long term. Delivering a product is an iterative process. You can't accomplish everything on day one. 7, establish your success metrics. Beyond whether you know the product is succeeding, you need to know if your roadmap is succeeding. Talk with your team and set success metrics up front. Release quality, release timelines, velocity, rework, and many more. You need to pick the metrics that work for your company, product, and team. Just be sure to agree on them, set them, review them, and adjust as you go. 8, tell a coherent story. Last, but not certainly least, does your roadmap tell a story that hangs together? Does it make sense? Does the team understand what it leads to? A roadmap is meant to reflect the product strategy and target outcomes through a story of how the product will deliver differentiated value to customers and users while winning in the market. Tragedy, it can lead to triumph. In my case, the crisis I faced led me to research and develop the first principles I've shared here with you. Of course, it wasn't easy. It took reflection, iteration, and a very patient team. But by refocusing on the fundamentals, outcomes, value, success metrics, and a degree of realism, we succeeded after a few months of pain. Note, I also learned that first principles need to be incorporated into the team's operating rhythms for them to work. So as you go into roadmap development or refactoring, remember the 8 first principles of successful product roadmaps. Trust, outcomes, value, DMF, flexibility, realism, metrics, and story. Your company, team, product, and customers will thank you. If you'd like to stay up to date with the latest in product, hit like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And please drop me a comment. I get lonely. Thanks.